What up? What up? What up? Hey, Colina. What's going on? Here. What's good, Flower Child? The good old Tim's Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tim's Tuesday. Episode 2. It's going down. Got a very special guest. I felt like it's the right way to start it off, having my first guest. Hey, that's, I'm glad I didn't even wear a hat. It fits better when you don't have a hat on already. Uh, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to give it a few minutes. Let some friends get in here. Let's see, how's everybody's day going? It's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Some of y'all might know it's Journey's birthday today. I'm dedicating this one to her. We're going to dedicate this episode to Mamacita. Hola. What's up, Jesse? What up, what up? Yeah. Oh, while we waiting, yeah, you got a question? What's good? Thank you, Crystal. What up, Chinita? What's your question, Flower Child? Thank you, Colina. I think somebody trying to battle. I'm going to have to turn off the invites for this one. Fluffy. What up, Fluffy? Thank you all for joining. Just giving you a few more minutes. Then we're going to bring up our guest for this episode of Tim's Tuesday, which is This Is My Story. I started this series so we could interview regular, everyday people, to extraordinary people, to people who are just killing it in their field or their niche. So, that's basically what this is all about. It's me interviewing people. So that's what I'll be doing today. Who knows how to get into IG? Who knows how to get into IG? What do you mean? Like you're locked out of your account? Is that what's going on? You're locked out the account? Oh no. That's a good question. Or did you like lose your account or something? And you don't have it backed up like an email or something that you could just like set it up with an email or something to get out? Like, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like a forgot password type of situation. Welcome, welcome everybody. Go ahead and take the time to share the live if you'd like. Just giving it a few more minutes. I'm going to be bringing in my first guest on Tim's Tuesday. So pretty excited about having this person on. She is doing amazing things right now in her niche, on TikTok and off of TikTok as well. So, whoa, that's pretty wild. That sucks. Yeah, I rarely use Instagram now, so luckily I haven't had that problem. So I really don't know how to fix that problem. Um, so I'm gonna just give it 2 more minutes and then we're gonna get it going. Again, this is episode 2 of Tim's Tuesday. This is my story Tuesday. I have a wonderful guest that I'm going to be bringing up. Some of you might know her already, but I'm pretty sure you don't know her story, which is why I wanted to bring her on today and talk to her a little bit, get a little bit of an inside look into her story. As some of you guys start to get to know her through TikTok, this is going to give you a little insight into who she is and why she does what she does. So, 7:07 now, and at 7:08 we're going to get started. I'm going to bring her in. Um, so I'll give a little introduction to my first guest on Tim's Tuesday. Hey, Courtney. So once I get started with the interview, I'll check in on the comments a little bit. But I'm going to be mainly focused on interviewing our guest. And then I will give a time toward the end of the interview where we could take questions from the comments or possibly even bring somebody into the box and take questions that way as well. So if you do have any questions, please write them down, especially with the information that she'll be sharing. Please write down your questions or, keep them in mind for the toward the end of the episode. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my first guest on Tim's Tuesday. We're going to be talking to her about her series called Mystic Mondays, her other series, Witch Out Wednesdays. I'm not going to go too much into her. I'm going to let her tell her story a little bit. So let's go ahead and bring her up. See if she could get connected here. Hey, what up, what up, what up? What's going on?
We got a whole vibe going on. Hold up, let me wait.
We do. I was trying to match your vibe. I seen how you got your vibe going. So I was trying to match your vibe. I said, if
There
I'm
we
gonna
go.
have a guest that goes all out, I gotta make sure I go all out this time. So welcome, Faithful Wishes 11. I gotta bring up the where is it, the little effects so I can do a little. Where's the
You
sound
can
effects?
go. Fur, fur.
I gotta have the no, hold on. I
Hi,
gotta make sure I
Queen.
have our sound effects up.
My
Here we
love.
go.
Say everybody.
There it is. That's what I was looking for. So as I said, I wanted to have you when I talked to you about it. I wanted to have you as my first guest because our stories intertwine. For those of you who don't know, Serena is my sister. So we are blood related, not just like, metaphorically or nothing like that. Serena is my sister. And a lot of the reason why both of us are on TikTok is because we said we wanted to bring our journey and our stories to TikTok and help other people the way we're doing it in real life. And in person, not that TikTok is in real life, but in person. So I'm gonna turn it over to you. If you could just give us a little introduction to yourself, Serena. The floor is yours for now.
Hold on, I'm nervous.
What? Yo, it's just me and you in here, baby.
I know, but there's everybody watching us now, and like my heart is racing.
It's just me and
Oh, hold
you.
on. I just need to take a breath. Hold
Okay, take a breath. Take a
on.
breath.
Okay.
I hope you
What was
brought
your
some water
question?
too. It's not even a question. I just want you to
I
do a little
know. Oh,
introduction to
about
yourself.
me.
That's all.
Okay. So my name is Serena. I am intuitive healer. I do Reiki. I am a multidimensional channeler, which means I channel spirit, psychic medium, jack of all trades, wedding minister, wedding planner, event planner, mommy of a 2-year-old,
Is that the
fur
hardest one
mama.
out of all of them?
All the jobs, yeah, yeah. But being a mom of a 2-year-old, definitely the hardest one.
Yeah,
Um,
you got a challenge and a half right there.
oh, and I read tarot cards. I'm a card reader as well.
Do you
I
read
think that's
anything other than tarot cards? Are there other mediums of readings that you do?
I do energetic readings. Yeah, I do energetic readings. I also do like light language and DNA activation. So a little bit about light language. That's just um, I like to say if you take the energy of God and you had to put it into a sound vibration, that is what light language would be omitting. The vibration that's coming out of your voice, what you emit from yourself, would be the tones of God. So basically, light language is like speaking in tongues. For people that's kind of like the layman's term of it would be speaking in tongues, but it's really just translating the energy of God. And what that does is it speaks to the soul, to the spirit, to the DNA, and it does an activation. Thank you, Chris.
So that just touching on
Uh,
light language, people don't need to necessarily understand what's being said. That's what I understand about speaking in
Correct.
tongues and light language. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. Light language is speaking to your DNA. It speaks to the spirit. It speaks to your highest self. It speaks to the essence of who you are because it's a transmission from God. So essentially, some people do think that they can understand the dialect, and there's also many different dialects of light language, and they usually come through your highest self or like the multi-dimensional versions of yourself. I don't want to go too much into that because maybe not everybody understands like quantum reality and parallel universes and all that other stuff. But there are multiple versions of ourselves. We have fractal versions of ourselves, and we are able to tap into those energies and bring in the gifts we have from other realities into this one. So that's a version of
Okay.
light language.
So you actually kind of like mentioned something that you said, some people might not have a of an understanding of it. Now that kind of will lead me to you
The
have
question.
two different series that you're kind of doing right now that you just recently started. You have Mystic Mondays, so I'm gonna start with that one
Hmm.
because obviously that happens first in the week. So Mystic Mondays, can you tell us a little bit about Mystic Mondays?
That kind of developed by accident. I
Okay.
think that's the series I kind of was focused on the most was the Witch Out Wednesdays, which we'll go back to. But then I wanted to do, and that series is at 11:30 on Wednesday evenings. So I'm all about like balancing the energy. And I felt like I wanted to do something during the daytime where we can like absorb the light energy and the energy from the sun. So that's kind of how Mystic Mondays developed. And what that basically is it's just a live stream of like a light energy, me pouring in light to the algorithm. And for those who have the ability to tune in, they're getting DNA upgrades, they're getting energetic upgrades. It's really just um, me mirroring the light of energy and vibrational clarity that people need. And then also anything that they may have like kind of picked up over the weekend and the things that are going on in their life, helping them to be able to shed those and the blockages that they may have. So it is light language. It's basically a light language activation, and that's what Mystic Mondays is focused on. It's just energy and sound, and it's a really short segment. It's about a 30-minute segment.
Okay. So you have that's your like one like quick little connection. You kind of make your contact. Some people feel that, and just speaking that, I know we're speaking more of like in spiritual sense, but even with like religion and things like that, sometimes people have the misconception in my mind, and I don't know if you agree, that we have to go spend, a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days or things like that doing certain things. I guess in your regular practice and your everyday lifestyle, how much time do you dedicate to your spiritual work or like your
I think I think that's
the
an
work that you
interesting
do?
question. It's an interesting question because I think how I do it has kind of developed over time. And I think it's also based on like spirit understands, like your spirit guides, your ancestors, like the beings that work with you, also understand that you have a life. So I think it just depends on your level of what you want to be manifesting and how you want to be doing things for yourself. Now that I have a 2 year old, it's a lot harder to spend time like specifically doing things for spiritual like enlightenment. A few things that are very simple to do though is meditation, and you can do a walking meditation, an exercise meditation. Like meditation can be in the shower, before bed. It can be a few words. It can be a mantra. A mantra is a repetition of a pattern of sound, like a saying that like is uplifting to you. That's a version of meditation, and it really could just be a few moments. Spirit understands, like something I do, which literally everybody can do this, and it's kind of cheesy, but it's a really good idea. I have an alarm on my phone that goes off at 1:11 every day, and it says send light. And then when it goes off, I just go, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then I say, I send light, love, peace, and blessings to all beings through time, space, and beyond. So that's like just something for me. Like I want to know that I'm connecting to humanity. I'm connecting to the world of spirit, and then I'm acknowledging them because your guides and those who work with you can only do that with your permission. So I
Mm,
try to make sure on a daily basis that I'm at least acknowledging them and asking them to be with me. But outside of that, because I'm a little more spiritual than like most people, and I kind of am pursuing the spiritual path. Something I do before I leave the house. I do have like an altar space, so I go to my altar and I call my spirit guides and my brothers, my ancestors, my angels. I call in the tribes of everybody to walk with me, to be with me, to protect me, and to guide me, and to walk ahead of me to protect my family, to guide the decisions that I'm making for that, so that I can walk on the highest alignment and the highest path of light. Those are the things that are important to me. So those are things that I do right in the morning. And then something that's also really simple, and I think a few people have heard me mention it, Florida water. No, that is not water from Florida. It's an actual product.
Not
It's
just
like a
regular
perfumed, it's a perfumed
Zephyr water.
product
What is
that
that called? That bottled water that you only
Florida
get in
water.
Florida. It's not that.
Oh, the Zephyr Hills you're talking about?
Hmm.
Not
I've
Zephyr
only
Hills.
only seen that in
No,
Florida.
but that's because it's a Florida spring, actually. It comes from
Yeah,
a Florida spring, and it's
that's
not good
Florida water.
water, so don't drink it. They are
That's
not a
Florida water.
sponsor of this live. But Florida water, something that I do is I spray it on my hands and I just energetically clean my aura with it. And that's something really good to do at night. So I would say like meditation, inviting your guides to be with you, and at minimum, some Florida water as
So
a
you
part of
just
your
mentioned you
spiritual.
mentioned something that I think is very common in like the Hindu, Buddhism, some of the like Western religions, and I know also
Ideologies.
in ideologies and things like that. So even in there's a bunch, but specifically you mentioned an altar. Now my understanding
Hmm.
of an altar is it doesn't have to be huge. It could be small. It could be kept, and typically should be kept away from visitors and things like that. Can you touch a little bit about an altar, because I think I have one, and I think it's something that's very powerful, and it allows there to be a home where your spirit guides and could be a place for God to rest, in a sense, in your home. So maybe you could just talk about a little bit of the importance of specifically a altar within your home.
Um, So not everybody has to have an altar, and I don't want people to just like go out and start making one. There is a progression in spiritual evolution that you should like kind of take before you like go out and just build an altar. Um, and also more than that, like basically an altar is a home for your spirits within your house. It's a place where you meet them. It's like setting the intention, like it's almost like you don't have to go to God, you don't have to go to church, but when you go to church, the presence of the Holy Spirit is magnified because of the presence of the number of spirits that are there, the number of souls that are there with the intention to uplift the word of God, right? So an altar is like a tool. It's not a necessity, but it's a tool for magnifying your spiritual energy. So for me personally, my altar consists of very different things because I'm all paths welcome kind of girl. So I do have like there's a space signature for the archangels on my altar. I have a Wiccan altar. I have an altar that's kind of more set up for spiritualism. And then I have an assortment of I have an Egyptian altar. Like I really do like I just pay tribute and homage to many different things because I feel like similar to what you said last week. I feel like all ideologies are just a piece of the puzzle. And unless you can really understand all of them simultaneously, you don't know it all. And even it's still you still don't know it all because the energy of God is always encompassed in simply always evolving. So you never have everything really to your on the other side and you merge back with the energy of spirit. Um, but yeah, an altar is important, but it's not the first thing you do when you decide you want to be a spiritualist or just anything. I would once again, I started with uh, I was gifted a Buddha from you, I believe. Actually, I think
Mhm.
you gave me my first Buddha, and then I just started meditating in front of it. And I think the first time I meditated, oh, thank you guys. I think the first time I meditated, I cried. I was scared. Like I genuinely like I had never connected to God in that way. And
Wait, when did you start meditating differently than praying, in a sense? Like when
so
did you
so
start
the
doing
difference
that?
between the difference between let me take these off. The difference between praying and meditating is praying is talking to God, meditating is listening.
Mm, yeah, I love
So
that one.
when you meditate, you sit without thought. The idea is to be as clear as you possibly can and have the clarity.
of not
That's a
thinking,
that's
so
a
that
that's a
spirit can step in
challenge.
and talk to you. Say that
That's a
again.
challenge. And no, I said that's a challenge, and I think a lot of people don't realize
Yeah.
when we're talking about meditation that like you said, everything else is a progression. So meditation is a progression as well. So like for me, when I first started doing meditation, I literally would do it right before bed so that it would kind of like help me fall asleep. And then I realized it was there was a point where I stopped falling asleep actually, and I was meditating so deep that I would come out of it like what was that? Like it was like the meditation was getting deeper, sort of. But you just mentioned like meditating and then being so into the meditation that you cried. What is that, or like what
Yeah.
caused that type of experience for you?
I don't do that now. But I did that the first few times. The first
Right.
few times, I think I was almost scared. I was scared to be alone with God. I think that if I had to chuck it up to anything, I think that there's a, a level of vulnerability when you just stop praying and you start listening
Mm,
and you give God the opportunity to talk to you versus you constantly just giving. That that we have to remember that in order to receive, for the cycle to be complete, you have to be open to giving and receiving. So you cannot constantly just give and reverberate all that you want to manifest and all that you want in your life without the opportunity of that coming into your life and being
mm,
able to receive that. So
yeah. And I like two things there. One, it's the giving and receiving part, right? There's a duality there. And then there's also the speaking to God and listening to God. Again, another form of duality. We live in a dualistic reality. Um, can you talk to what that means for? I want to be specific in the answer, a little bit specific because
because you already
it's
know
why.
that I'm going to go off the
Yeah,
edge.
well, and I'm saying that only because I think that there is some people don't realize how much spirituality answers a lot of everyday questions, and we try to find political answers, we try to find the right answer, where sometimes the right answer is within, right? So since we're
Hmm.
talking spirituality, I want to focus on the part that you go within, specifically something you said recently on a live, which was the balancing the masculine and feminine within yourself. That in doing that, you actually find fulfillment, right? Like you don't need to
Hmm.
necessarily go out and find it anymore because you are
Outside of you.
already fulfilled. And then when you do that, you're actually able to find the counterpart of that in someone else, and that's basically where a true harmonious relationship could start, in a healthy way. So I want to talk a little bit about balancing the masculine and feminine within yourself, and maybe how you did it that could possibly help someone else.
Um, that's a tough question. I think it for me it was just the more spiritual work I did, I realized where there was an imbalance, right? So part of it, like for example, like in there's some people who like are too grounded, and then there's some people who are like too in the sky. And what does that mean? What that I guess essentially could mean is like the upper chakras are activated where the lower ones are not, or vice versa, right? So you want in order to find balance within the self and because earth the experience of being human on earth is a dualistic thing, which means that there's good and bad in everything. There's white and dark, light and darkness, evil and good. um but that is the experience simply on earth. It's not like that beyond this realm, because we are all encompassed back into source, right? So when we are here, we have the opportunity to just stand in our highest light or stand in the dark, right? So that's duality. So you can say light is feminine where dark is masculine, right? There's always like two sides to everything. So most people move through their life either extremely feminine or extremely masculine. The trick is to find what's called 0 point. 0 point is like extreme balance, like not affecting one energy more than the other, or not emitting one energy more than the other. And in true romantic relationships, a lot of people, and a lot, this is kind of like a niche kind of thing, like in the new age movement, like your divine feminine and divine masculine, and having to find that counterpart in somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I never want to take away from somebody else's journey. I just feel like that place and that mentality is kind of set a little further back in the spectrum of awakening, because
Right.
true awakening takes you to the understanding that you are the divine feminine, you are the divine masculine. And when you can balance within yourself clarity of giving, receiving, light, dark, or whatever duality that you want to call it, feminine and masculinity, at that point when you can love yourself and love every form of yourself, every version of yourself, then and only then do you anchor a sacred union within yourself. So you will never be able to find what you need in another partner fully until you can do that in yourself, because then you stop looking for it in someone else. You found it
Right.
simply in yourself. And when you're able to within yourself be whole, then you can match that whole, and the universe will send you the reciprocal. No, I'm sorry, actually the match, not the reciprocal, the match to that energy.
Yeah, and I think that's important for. I know, kind of like you're obviously speaking from like as a woman, you're speaking from that, but I think it's important for men to understand that finding the divine feminine in yourself is important. That you mentioned something too, even that triggered the thought in my mind about being vulnerable. Like one of the biggest things that I think is there's actually strength in being vulnerable. So like
Absolutely.
in your case, talking about meditation and being scared of meditation at first, once you became vulnerable, you actually found the gifts that were awaiting you on the other side of being vulnerable, and
Absolutely.
opening the door to God and spirit and all the gifts that were waiting basically. So I know I kind of want to go back a little bit. So there's obviously a point where we're all on a journey, we're all experiencing life. But for you, there was a fork in the road. I'm assuming because I understand people's journeys. So I assume that there was a fork in the road where you decided to be. I could be living in the 3D, what we call it, the 3D, or I could go on and ascend on to the spiritual path, which I think you're living in your purpose now,
Hmm.
because you chose that path. So I'd like to maybe if you could talk a little bit about the evolution of your spiritual journey specifically. Like I think a lot of people find themselves in the beginning and then they're like, I'm not doing this. Like this is too much work, or it's a bunch of different things that happen at that fork in the road that could cause to choose the other way, basically. So
So
and
I,
that road is difficult sometimes. So if you could talk to that evolution.
I feel like to talk to even talk about it, I have to go to the first time one of my gifts manifested.
Okay.
So I think, as kids, we've told several stories, maybe not to these folks, but amongst, other friends, we've told stories about how we saw things, we saw, shadows moving around, we saw this, that, and then at some point I think I closed myself off because I was scared.
Mhm.
I grew up in the 80s, I'm aging myself, but I grew up in the 80s where, parents didn't stop you from watching scary movies. Like we just watched anything. And for me, a source of one of my gifts is my dreams. And the first thing that ever happened for me spiritually was a dream. And it was, a difficult time for us, as you recall, when our parents were getting divorced.
Mhm.
And I think I was about 12 or 13 years old. And I remember we were also living in my mom's house, uh, but my parents were sleeping in our parents were sleeping in separate rooms. And it was, I don't know if you remember this, but it was when the boiler went out and it
I
was
remember, and
really
it was
cold in the winter,
we were using the electrical heater. I
the
remember this.
electrical heater, and we
Yeah,
all slept in we all slept in the smallest room in the house all
to
together
keep all the
to
heat.
keep all the heat
Mm,
in.
yeah.
And it was so hot that night that I couldn't stay in the room, and I ended up getting up and going to my own room. And night,
Okay, I think
hold
you're
on,
back.
I have to fix my headphones again. Hold on.
Okay. Hey guys, thanks for the likes. We appreciate it. Since I had a second there, but
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
continue on with the story. No, you're good.
No, I said, well, as soon as a call comes in and drops. I hear two versions of myself
Oh, is that
in my
does that help
headphones.
switching on and off the headphones? That gets rid of it?
Well, yeah, what I'm doing, I completely turned it off because if not,
Okay. Not
Hear me
connected.
okay now?
There you go. Yeah. You're back.
Okay. So I got up and I went to the other room. And that night, and I want to say, yeah, I was 12 because I was in seventh grade. And earlier that week, a girl that was in school with me had gotten beat up, right? This is such a silly story, but this is genuinely how it started for me. A girl in school had gotten beat up. And that night, I dreamt that she came to school the next day with nothing. Like she had no marks on her. She was perfectly fine. That was one dream. Actually, that was the last dream of three. The first dream that night was that our mom, it's crazy, our mom was in a car accident or she jumped off a cliff. There was a bunch of people and our for whatever reason, and it was probably because she was going through a divorce and probably feeling overwhelmed in hindsight, right? I never really even like gave a prophetic meaning to the dream. I always just was like, this dream was crazy. So our mom jumps off a cliff, and then all of a sudden, I'm at the bottom of the cliff with a bunch of people, and everybody, and she lands on the ground perfectly, like kind of like when you jump with a parachute and your feet kind of look on the ground.
Hmm.
That's how she
She like
landed, and
glided down.
she glided down, yeah, and everybody's like, how is that possible? How is that possible? And they said it's because angels were red. And then my
Hmm.
ears went, "Ee!" And that's when my
Yes.
gifts turned on. That's exactly when it turned on. That was the first dream. The second dream was we were in the house. And the same night we were in the house, and Desiree, our cousin our cousin at the time, who's still our cousin at this time, but she is who we hung out with at the time.
Right.
And she had we were in mommy's dining room, and the door to the bathroom was a white light. So I knew that going through it, and mommy kept saying, like, Serena, you got to go through the light. And I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to go by myself. And Desiree's like, I can come with you. And my mom is like, no, Serena, you have to go by yourself. And I'm like, but I don't want to go. And it was bright. Like, you see the ring light?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. The whole
Like
door was
the
just,
Matrix door. The Matrix door.
yeah, it's the
That
Matrix
bright
door, but it
light
was
that
like, but it was
yeah.
completely open, and it was just a white light.
White. Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't want to go, but I did. And when I stepped through, it was like, it's the strangest thing. So imagine a white room filled with people, and then all those people melt down into silver, into what looks like mercury, into
Hmm.
ether, right?
Hmm.
And then one at a time they keep coming up. So like, what was a person, like say mommy or daddy, right? They melted down, and then when they came up, they were Santa Claus. Because remember, this is a 12-year-old mind, right? They turned into Santa Claus, and then they came down and they turned into another person. And it was, I guess, essentially spirit showing me that we're everybody and that essentially everybody's ether. But that was at 12,
Right.
right? I really didn't understand it. Unfortunately, over the course from 12 to, well, like 20, 30 something, that whole path, I think really up to like about 30, from 12 to 30, that like 17 years of everything, it was crazy dreams, prophetic dreams, um, being attacked by energies, in our mom's house, different things like that. It wasn't until another dream. I mean, not an. I think this is the thing that got me. Like that was the thing that started it. And then when I was about 19 years old, I'm gonna date myself again. The old sidekicks, the
Hmm.
phones, the sidekicks,
Slide up.
right? The slide up.
Yeah.
I was
They should bring
taking
that
a
back.
I was taking a bubble bath and candles out. I didn't know that candles are gonna start all the shit, right?
It
But
was in your divine femininity. All that.
yeah, I was living in my divine light. You know what I'm saying? So I had candles
Okay.
out, bubbles going, and I'm in the bathtub and I'm texting my boyfriend at the time. And he texts me something, and I'm like, he texts me, open your third eye. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't even know
Mm.
what it meant. And I'm like, what do you mean open my third eye? And he's like, what do you mean open your third eye? And I'm like, scroll up. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, Serena, I didn't ask that. Like, and I scroll up and it wasn't there.
Mm,
But that is what made me look up how do I open my third eye? Mind
right.
you, this is at 19. I wasn't trying to open my third eye. When I started seeing what that meant, I was like, oh no, I'm
Yeah.
not talking to spirits. I'm not talking to nobody. I was still very scared of it because of the experiences I was already having. It was scary to me to talk to spirit. True story. Until I got married, I did not sleep in the dark. I did not close my eyes in the shower. There are so many things that people don't realize because they're empaths and they're picking up on spiritual energies and the spirits around them, that they do things in their everyday life that they don't even realize they're doing it because they're feeling energy around them.
Right.
So it took a long time for me to get to a place where I was comfortable enough to acknowledge what spirit was for me. And
Yeah.
then when in 2014, my husband and I, we decided we were going to leave New Jersey and come to Florida. And I had a reading, I think maybe like 2 weeks before that. And, I don't even think I had my first card deck yet at that time. And the psychic who gave me a reading said to me, when you get to Florida, you're going to meet your spiritual family. Like
Mm,
your spiritual development is just it's going to blow through the roof when you get there. And that was 8 years ago. And in the time I've been here, in the 8 years I've been here, I've been very lucky to become a part of a growing group here in Central Florida of psychic mediums. With their focus being on psychic and mediumship development. So I was very lucky to find a good group of people who took me under their wing and facilitated my growth from there. They taught me how to tune into my skills, how to sharpen my skills, and how to really put them out in a way that was healthy for other people. And, since then, as you know, we've done workshops, we've done all kinds of things just to kind of help bring the collective into a positive timeline into their highest light.
So, like you said, we've done workshops, and a lot of what you talked about, I remember as you're saying it now. Like, I remember the times where I feel like a lot of our spiritual evolution happened very simultaneously. I think the way we balance each other is, um, you will find the ways to make everything that is 3D into a spiritual thing, and then the things that are spiritual, too spiritual for some people, I make it real in a sense, like the
Mm-hmm.
3D version of it, and I try to show people there's a way to connect this to that.
Correct.
So that's typically the way we balance each other, and even in our workshops that we've done, that's the way we present together. We balance each other in showing, here's what's going on. This is what you're battling with. This is what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. This is the way that you fix it spiritually, energetically. This is the way you get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the early on stuff, though, I remember when I'm like, yo, you can't be scared of that. And you'd be like, I'm not
Oh,
doing
I was
that. Or like
terrified. It's
there was so
crazy.
many like little things that I remember about. Even like you would mute the TV when you heard people speaking in tongues on TV, and here you are
Yeah.
now in your lives and on your in
Wait, wait, wait,
person you
wait.
do this. Like,
I still do that. I still do that. You know
I'm
what?
sure I'm sure you do,
Wait.
because I know what you know is in program, that type of programming.
Well, no, you see, that's the thing.
Might not
So
always
let's
be
real quick.
of light.
All of these things, telephones,
Black mirrors.
TVs, laptops, they're all mirrors. They're all
Right.
mirrors, which means that they are portals of energy. So me specifically, like I know that when someone writes a movie and writes a script, it's original to the energy.
Right.
So if someone's writing a movie with demonic energy or with the ideology of channeling a demon or any of that, I do not allow that into my house. I do not allow it into everybody has different energies and they have different abilities. My my spiritual empathy is too strong for me to tap into that. So I do when stuff comes up, I mute it because I'm not allowing them to cast into my space.
Right.
And that's why I do it. Like
And
it's silly, but I still do it.
I'm glad we're talking about it, just because for me, I always like to talk about how consumption, right? A little bit about consumption.
Mhm.
So we're talking about the portal of a phone, of a iPad, whatever it is, like any type of technology, being a Black Mirror, television. These are all forms of consumption, ways that we can consume. And a lot of people don't realize, sometimes the energetic things and things that are causing an off balance is not necessarily the food that you're consuming. Sometimes it could be these other
The energy,
energetic things that
absolutely.
you're allowing into your aura, let's call it, or your energy field, consuming through your eyes, right? We have five senses, and some people have 6.
Yeah.
So those things are ways that are causing people to sometimes fall ill
Well,
because of those other things that they're consuming.
if I could add to that, the
Mhm.
I took a qigong class once at like a fair that I went to, and the gentleman who was hosting it, he was doing, I think they're dowsing rods when you go like this, and what it does is it can either people's energy, you could either find water. It's one of those things that you can find water with, or you can use it to read people's auroric energy, like how far out. So what he would do is he would stand in front of a person, he would keep backing up to show how far out he could still feel the person's energy signature, right? So
Mhm.
for a person who is not very spiritually advanced, their energy field could be, and this doesn't mean good or bad energy. This is just energy, right? So it could be someone who practices good stuff, someone who practices bad stuff. Energetically, it doesn't matter what the signature is. It's just how far it's emitted from the body, right? So an unhealthy person generally emits an energy signature 10 to 15 feet from the body. Even it could even be lower because they're just not, their electrical conduction system is not really advocating for them. For me, that gentleman stood 90 feet away from me, and that's
Wow.
where my energy signature stopped. So imagine anybody within 90 feet of me is standing in my energy field, which means that if
You could
I
pick
come
up on
into a
all of that.
space, you pick exactly. So imagine that at a sports stadium, at a mall, at places that are could be high, they're high energy in both, they're both highly polarized in each direction. There's people that are very happy at the mall, people who are very angry at the mall, and you're interacting with all of that. And that's kind of essentially why for me it's important to teach like spiritual hygiene, spiritual protection, to make sure that you're kind of guarding your energy field, guarding what you're emitting so that other people are not sucking that off of you.
So just because you mentioned that, I actually were kind of triggers the thought about which out Wednesdays. Like I know that that was kind of something that you mentioned in your first episode, actually. So let's talk a little bit about what is. We talked about Mystic Mondays, but let's talk a little bit about what specifically is which out Wednesdays. Since you said you did focus more on that, like what is the true purpose and nature of that series?
Um, so originally when I came to TikTok, we're baby TikTokers. We've only been here maybe like what 3 4 months.
Right.
So it took when I came here, you know, we have conversations like this on FaceTime all the time. And essentially we decided we wanted to create accounts on TikTok so that we could have our normal conversations here. And that's essentially what I originally I don't even think I wanted to share spiritual stuff. I that wasn't even my thought. I kind of was more um well, I guess it was a little spirit. It was a little witchy, witchy. It was a little bit of
I
everything.
think
I
it was,
wanted to
yeah, I
come
think it was
and
more
share
in an
everything.
educational
Yeah,
help out
like
sort of way of what
it
the idea
wasn't.
was.
I never had intentions to do readings. I never had intentions to really do energy work or any of that. And then, um, with the previous group that we were a part of, what I found when we were on lives together, every single time a witchy type conversation came on, it really struck a chord within the chat. And I
Hmm.
found that a lot of people had questions and did not have an outlet or have someone to talk to in a healthy way about those questions. And more than that, I guess because the way I was taught by my godparents that it's really hard and you must use discernment and when you're getting information from people, I just felt like I was so lucky to find those people that I wanted to be that for somebody else. I
Hmm.
wanted somebody to have a safe space that they could go to ask witchy questions and do it from a space of light because something that I do not do is I do not practice dark magic. I have an understanding of the shadow world. I have no problem. I do witch out Wednesdays at night so that I have the balance of the moon energy and the balance of Mother Goddess. But I do that always standing from a space of infinite light. So there's all kinds of creators on TikTok, but not everybody works from that place. And that's
Right.
kind of when someone asks me, oh, like I don't do love spells. I don't do things like that because I don't do anything that could affect someone else's free will. Um, to me, it's important that you stand in your highest light. And then when you manifest and you wish for something for yourself, it does not negate or take away from something else or from somebody else. So it's important that, what you put into the world, that it's going to come back to you. So, and the things, and in the series of what Witch Out Wednesday is going to be, the idea is to have a little bit of fun. I like to do energy work and things like that. And I guess it's more like a sample of who I am for TikTok. For me, it's always about changing the algorithm. To TikTok, like I say this almost on every single live. TikTok can be a very negative place, but it can also be a very positive place. There's 14 of us in here right now. There's 14 people being affected by light today. The people who will watch this later, the people who will receive this 2-3 months from now, they'll still get the energy signature of what this is, the idea of love and growth. And, hopefully at the end, I'm hoping to give a little bit of a energy transmission, as long as we have time for everything. And in that, at any moment in time when you hear that, you receive it. You receive the energy and the intention from it. So I guess that's kind of my goal, to be able to give a sample of who I am. So like kind of the format for Witch Out Wednesdays moving forward will basically how it was last week. We'll do our opening up. We'll welcome everybody into the room. We'll do a lesson plan. And I want to lead with an activity. I want to be able to teach people a little bit of something, give some knowledge so that they can. I don't want you to come to me forever. I want to empower you to be able to be the witch that you truly are. And all of us have a little bit of that within us. All of us have special gifts. And I call it witchy, because that's kind of a niche, right? We call it witchy
I was
vibes,
I was gonna ask you that so that you could kind of, that word does have a negative
connotations
connotation to
associated.
it.
Yeah.
So if you could actually, translate in a sense of like what that means to like a regular person who doesn't necessarily really like, witch, hold up. What does that mean for a regular person who just wants to be more spiritual? Like, what is it? What
I
would
think
a
the
person
reason,
like that get from that Witch Out Wednesdays?
clarity for one, you'd have the clarity of knowing that, not all witches are bad witches. Everything is everything is affected by the person's energy field and what they're emitting. So there's good and bad in everything, but there's good and bad in all things.
Right.
So I feel like for me, the biggest thing is that if someone can come to me and leave a little bit better than the way that they came in, with an understanding of how to heal themselves, how to heal people around them, the things that they can do positively for themselves and for their community. Because if you can take care of yourself, like we are all creators of our story, right? And I had a conversation earlier today about vibrational alignment, right? And I actually, this coming Sunday I will be speaking at a spiritual church about the same topic, about quantum timelines and like quantum jumping and things like that. And the idea behind like the chaos, right? Over the last few weeks, we've had a lot of unnecessary things happening around us, right? What put us in a vibrational alignment for that to happen to us? What is it that I feel about myself that allows me to be in alignment with something that is so negative? What is it that I'm manifesting and that I'm not focusing on within myself that is allowing me to come into a vibrational alignment with that which does not serve me? And then, like, and realizing that things happen to us because that's what we're attracting to ourselves, right? Sometimes you say, he treats me badly, he treats me poorly. Well, why does he do that? Well, do you love yourself? How do you care about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? That reflection of what you're getting from someone else is negative. So there's a lot to it, because I guess because I sit in a space where I'm always trying to decide, energetically where I want to be, and know that it's like construction of the brain, because all of your thoughts are energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. So you are constantly manifesting what you want your highest light to be. And sometimes, you have to do work in the shadows. Sometimes you have to be in the dark to find the light, because you need that contrast of duality in order to really sit in your light and to anchor light.
Yes. So I think in your series, pretty much anybody could come and still get something, whether they are walking the path or they're just
Or
there to,
not.
like, yeah. Because obviously I watched and I was in the room in a sense, and a lot of the feedback that was given in the comments and things like that were like things you were saying or things you were doing, people were just like, I feel it. Like they were just feeling something. And even if they couldn't necessarily define what it was that they felt, they were feeling it regardless. Like that feeling that they were getting to be drawn in. I know some people are like, I'm bawling my eyes out. They're crying. There's people
Oh,
like
that was so
experiencing.
emotional.
It
It was
was. It was
so
like
emotional.
an emotional roller coaster. But I think
It
that's
was.
something that you mentioned even there was like, the tears and all of that is a way to actually release
Purge.
energy as well. That's a purging that happens during that experience, that almost, lifts a weight off your shoulders or your chest or your
Mm-hmm.
physical body. So, that's part of the process. And some people don't realize that's necessary to move forward. Like I have the
Correct.
saying of
Correct.
you gotta you know uh empty your hands in order to receive more, right? So even
Mm-hmm.
in this case, like the baggage that we carry, sometimes it was good at one point, but it no longer serves us, so it's time to let it
Correct.
go. And I think that was something that I took away from your episode or your last week, that um there's things that we just have to let go of sometimes that no longer serve us. And I think you helped
Correct.
a lot of people during the
You know,
episode do that.
I think sometimes our trauma is all we know to be,
Mm,
right? Like we don't know how to be ourselves without the trauma, right? We don't know how. It's easier to not forgive somebody and sit in your trauma. It's easier to not grieve and sit in your trauma. It's easier, there's a lot of easiers, like, and until you're ready to really let go and see yourself, right? I think that's where I am now. I'm seeing myself, and I'm seeing myself for the first time in my whole life, like where I'm like this was something like so for example, my spiritual godparents, they would frown upon this because they're from a culture where you don't share this information. This is private and protected. And so in essence, I agree. There's certain things I will never share on TikTok because those are private. I'm not gonna talk about who I'm channeling unless it's somebody that's known by everybody. I'm not gonna call out my personal guides because those are for me. There's just certain things I'm not gonna show videos of my altars because that's for me. But there are things that I can share and teach people that will help uplift them. And
right.
like I said it, I'm a part of a very large group of psychic mediums. And in my group, I didn't feel like I would be the go-to person. I felt like for the level of experience now, I mean, 8 years later, I might be one of the go-to people now. But when I started, I wasn't, and when I saw that TikTok had this need and the group that we were existing within had a need, for someone to just be like, it's okay, like do this, like the light of God. And that's what it is. Okay. So last week we had a few people come in right away, right at the beginning of the episode for Witch Out Wednesdays, like, Jesus is the king. I absolutely believe that. Actually, segue, just a little side note. The name of Jesus is not the name of Jesus, right? That's just the name that was given later on. The power of Yeshua, the power of Yahweh, that which is all light and encompassing light, that which is the Christ light, I 100% believe in. So I do not want people to think that Witch Out Wednesdays is lacking in God and that there is
It's
no
far it's
affinity.
far it's far from
It's
that.
far from it. It's like completely in alignment. And just because the connotation of which, if you really look at the Bible and you really look at the proper translations and you really do all of like the legwork behind it, um, tarot card reading, all of that stuff is included in the Bible. But if you look at the chapters that are missing, the chapters that explain why these divinations were being done and the right way in which to do certain things, those things are not excluded, and those all things are a light of God. I had a young man ask me once, saw my bracelets, and he was like, "Oh, I really like those. What are those for?" And I said, "Well, each bracelet is for a different modality. This bracelet is to cleanse my blood. This bracelet is for protection. This bracelet is for abundance. This bracelet is for spiritual awareness." And he's like, and he's 14 years old. He goes to a Christian school. And he said, I used to have crystals, but I got rid of them. And I said, why? And he goes, because the Bible says they're bad.
Mm,
And I said, let me ask you something. Who made the crystals? What do you think his answer was?
God.
How can something God made be bad?
Right.
It's a tool. If you properly know how to use tools, they will benefit you. That's the same thing as using cascarilla, eggshells, using cigars, using Florida water. All of these things are tools of God. These are manifested things that God bestowed upon humanity. And now humanity had the ability to create it, invent it, whatever, and now we use it. Like you have to know how to properly use tools to benefit you in a way that is not taking away from others.
Right. So I think you mentioned before in your episode, and what you normally do in your episodes, you take the time where you do readings.
Yes,
Sometimes you receive information and you share that information with individuals. Is there a way that you do that privately? Like if somebody was interested in
I
doing that
do.
privately with you, how would they
So
do that?
just so if, for example, you are interested in a reading, I would suggest coming by tomorrow, which at Wednesdays, 11:30. I do one card free readings during the live event. That's something that if you're just kind of want to get a sneak peek, a little taste, and you're interested, I will be happy. I basically pull a card for everybody as long as, it's not like 500 people. We might have to limit it when we get to that point of time that we do it for, but essentially everybody gets a card pulled. Um, and if by chance spirit happens to step in when I am pulling a card, and what that means is if one of your spirit guides, an ancestor or you or someone that may have passed on, if they step in while I am giving your reading, I will deliver that message as well. Actually, Witch Out Wednesdays is essentially what I do when I do a reading outside of the activity that we do at the top of the series. Essentially, it's a card reading, mediumship in terms of, well, cards, like I actually use these like angel cards. So it's like a full tarot deck, which is like 178 cards. So it has like the full arcana. So it's like the energy of tarot, but with an angelic twist to it. So it's always like a positive message, uplifting message. So I really like those. Um, so I do the angel readings, and then you'll get a little bit of mediumship, and then I wrap it with energy healing. So I do like with the idea of I'm sending everybody to bed with the most restful sleep they're ever gonna have.
Yeah, I
I
slept good
like to
that night.
just
I ain't gonna lie. I slept good. I think a lot I slept good that night. I'm looking forward to a
that's the
better night's
general
sleep tomorrow.
consensus from what I hear. Everybody had a really good night's sleep. And that's
So I
really
got
it. Like,
I got
good.
three questions. I'm paying attention to time as well. So I got
Okay.
three questions that I want, like almost like short form, almost like zinger dinger like type answers that I want
We could
that I
try.
kind of like held in a way, because I know these are topics that you're going to touch on, and I just kind of want people to get a taste of that a
Okay.
little bit. So first one, you mentioned psychic and medium, and most people's thoughts might go straight to, oh, she reads minds, or like you could see the future or something like that. Touch on just briefly if
Sometimes.
you could. Psychic, something for sure.
Sometimes.
Psychic medium. What does that mean?
Um.
What is the
So
difference between the two?
so something when I joined my mediumship group here, they would say, let me make sure I say it right. All mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums, right? So the
Okay.
difference between psychic and medium. Psychic means that you are tapping into. So when a psychic reading happens, actually, so this is this back here, this area right beneath the brain, that's actually like a channel. It's a port, an energy center, like the Matrix. They plug them in, boop, right there. That's
Yep.
why. That's an
That's
energy
why they
center.
did it.
So
Yep.
what happens is when you're getting a psychic reading, what actually ends up happening is that this opens and it connects. So you and the psychic are connected. So energetically, that person is reading your energy in this now moment. So I like
Also,
to tell
Avatar,
people,
when they do the hair thing in
yes,
Avatar, that connection. Yeah.
that's
Yep.
exactly what it is. The only thing is that, and I always tell people, you have to be mindful when you get a reading because the reading is for the energy signature you sit in that now moment. Once you receive the reading, the energy is different because now you have a choice to make because now you've been given information, right? So that's a psychic reading where someone is giving you visions of pictures or whatever energetically they are tapping into your energy field. What you're emitting into their energy field is what they reciprocate back to you, and kind of just explain. Where mediumship is channel. I'm sorry, mediumship is tapping into spirits and talking to the dead, basically, or multi-dimensional beings. Because the only thing walking around here isn't just our ancestors, like especially
Other
like
stuff.
there's all kinds of things. There's
You
multiple
you
layers of
you you're
energy.
going right to my next question. I don't know if
No,
I should. I don't know if I should let you go or if I should ask the
no,
next
go,
question
go,
and see if
go,
they
go,
tie
go, go, go,
together.
go, go,
Because
go,
my
go, go,
other
go.
question was, this is kind of like a two-part. It's, do you believe in aliens, and what are your thoughts related to aliens? Like,
I do
what do you
believe in
believe?
aliens, and part of the reason why I believe in aliens is because I've seen UFOs more than once, multiple times. I have some videos of it. I don't have it uploaded anywhere, but I think the first time I saw a UFO, I was maybe 26, and it was around 4 a.m. And I promise you, so it was like not that long after 9/11, and yeah, that's here we go. It was
Don't
not
worry,
that long
we're
after
gonna keep it short, but
9/11.
she's gonna talk more about it.
Yeah. It was not that far after 9/11. So I was driving down the road. I was leaving our hometown and I was heading into New York City. So I was like heading toward like the Turnpike Parkway, whatever. And at the time, the guy I was dating in the car next to me, I'm like, oh my God, that plane's going to crash. Oh my God, that plane's going to crash. And I pull over because I genuinely think the plane that's in the damn air is about to crash, and it hovers over my car. Like, we pull over, we get out, like I pull out my phone, and at the time, crappy phone, because I don't know, that was like years ago. I had a little flip little bullshit phone, and I tried to record it, and as soon as I looked at it, it was like it was like right there. I don't know how to explain how high in the air it was, but it was like maybe the height of a 6 or 7 story building, but it was massive. Like, it was like a football field floating over my head. And I looked up, and where he looked, I wasn't alone. He saw this whole fucking shit with me. He saw the whole. I'm sorry, I cuss. He saw the whole thing with me, and we looked at each other, and it went and just flew right back up into the sky. Now, at the time, I lived in Manhattan at that time, and I lived in a building, and I lived on the 18th floor. And in New York, a lot of at night, sometimes if something enters the airfield of Manhattan, they scramble the jets. And you hear the jets flying. I could see something in the clouds, but it was cloaked, and you could just see it like just drifting because you could see it breaking the clouds, and I could hear
Mm.
the fighter jets scrambling. So I believe in it because me personally, I've had experience with that. Not just that, but as I developed my own psychic and mediumship abilities, I was able to tap into galactic energies. I do work with galactics in that respect. There is many galactic energies working to help and enable humanity um, to kind of deliver us from the oppression that we've kind of been experiencing as a collective over the last like 200 years. So short version, long version, shorter version, yes, I believe in all of it. And um, holla at me if you want to know more.
Okay, so last question, and then I have one more thing. But um, what are one or two things someone can do today that they could do today to tap into their spiritual side? What's something that somebody could do right now when they get off this live? They could go do right now to say, "I'm tapping it."
Right now, you can go to your phone and go to calendar, and you're gonna put Witch Out Wednesdays, 11:30 p.m.
Tap
Then
it.
you're gonna fast forward to Monday and put in Mystic Mondays at 1:11 p.m. Then you're gonna go to my
Facts.
inbox and you're gonna send me a message and say, Serena, I'd like to talk about this more. I'd like a free consultation. And then you're also gonna go to my page, and at the top, you're gonna hit the notification button so that you know when I go live.
Boom,
Then
boom, boom.
after all of that, I would suggest buying some Florida water. It's such a silly thing, but I feel like for the TikTok world, it's something that's so simple that everybody can use. It's something that you can use to just cleanse your energy field. I do suggest meditating. I not praying, meditating, sitting and listening to the energy of God. That is super important, and that's where I would start. I would start there.
All right, so normally I do want to take a couple questions, but while people are going to start thinking about their questions, I want to somewhat end this the way you would have ended your Witch Out Wednesday. So I brought a deck with me, and I'm going to do a card reading for you. As you've blessed, as you have blessed so many of us with readings, I want to, if you guys could put crystal balls in the comments right now, drop some crystal balls in the comments if you want me to do a reading for Serena right now. If you want to see me do a card reading for Serena, I got my deck. I'm ready. I'm gonna do a reading for Serena. I brought my deck. I got my tarot deck with me. I got one. Here you go. They're popping up. So Serena, you have to give me permission to do your reading. So, I'm gonna need you to grant me permission. Do you give me permission?
I give you permission to give me a
So I'm
reading.
gonna open this deck up. I'm calling in
Let's go,
the
Walter
divine light.
Mercado.
I'm bringing it in, baby. I don't know if y'all ready for this. This is something new that some of y'all have never seen on this live. Actually, this is my first time ever doing this on a live. So we about to tap in. Serena, I want you to focus on a question. I want you to think about that question and ask your spirit guides to step in. All right.
Why
I
are you trying
want
to
you
sound like
to.
me?
I'm returning the energy, baby. It's
I
give
feel like
and take. You gotta
I feel like I'm giving a
you gotta
reading to
be able to.
myself. You got to do this. Now send it to me.
Here you go. I'm sending it to you. All
No,
right.
no, no.
You
You got
send
to
it to
tell
me.
me
I'm
to send it
gonna.
to you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sending, and you need to send back so I can receive the question, and we can connect that way. All right. You ready? You have your question.
Should I ask it out loud?
If you want to, that's up to you. If you want to share it that way, you
All
want to share
right.
it that way. You want, or do you want it to be personal?
No,
Because
no,
we don't know
no, no,
what the
no.
cards are gonna say. We don't know
No,
what the
no,
cards are gonna
no.
say.
It's okay. No, no, no. Let's just. I'll say it out loud. Okay.
Okay.
What does spirit have for me? I'm open to receiving any question, any energy that spirit wants to give me.
All right. Bet. Here we go. I like to start off with the card at the bottom. So, boom. Obviously, we're gonna start right here with the little girl. That is your inner child right there popping up. So we're gonna start with that. I'm gonna just put that off to the side. I'm gonna draw 3 cards. One is your necklace. That's the necklace card. I don't know if y'all know about these cards right here. This is a very special tarot deck that you guys are seeing right now. These are very exclusive that you might not find anywhere but Amazon. Very exclusive. So her first card is the necklace card. Her second one is the crab. Cancer
Crabby
popping
crab.
up. That's a cancer in your life. You better check in on the cancers in your life. So we got the necklace. We got
Not the alphabet
the
deck.
crab. And our third card is the vulture.
The
Okay. Now
vulture.
we need to decipher this. Because I don't know if y'all know how card readings work. But once the cards are drawn, you need to put the story together. All right. So here we go. All right. So here's just to remind everybody of the cards. We got the necklace card, N for necklace. We got the crab card, C for crab. And we got the vulture, which is V for vulture. All right. And then obviously the bottom card was the little girl, which is this reading is about you handling your inner child and dealing with your inner child. This also could mean a baby girl in your future, but we're not going there right now. This is for what's going on now. This isn't about the future, but I'm just saying I want y'all to remember this card in the event that Serena does have a daughter. You heard it here first. All right, here we go. The necklace. These are a reflection of your mala beads and the protection beads that you were wearing. Right,
Hmm.
that's what I'm getting from this card right here. Okay, so you need to do more, which a lot of people don't know this, but Serena actually does make necklaces and mala beads. That is something that she
And
does
jewelry. Yeah.
sell, and she does not really do as often as she should. So
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, that is something that she does. Tap in. This card is actually, like I said, I got the energy of a Cancer when I saw this. All right, so you got to check in on your Cancer friends, or someone that is a Cancer needs your help. So tap in with that. And lastly, I don't know if y'all know what the vulture does, but the vulture hovers over dead bodies or carcasses or weak animals and things like that. I don't know if y'all know this. This is there is someone or something doing this in your life, and this is symbolic of that. So you need to be mindful. This is just drawing your attention to that type of energy. Okay, the bottom feeders. You understand? The bottom feeders. Be mindful of those. So for
Wait,
anybody else who is interested in a reading, you could inbox me as well. You
wait, wait,
already know
wait,
what
wait.
deck I'm working with. So
Put them back in order in the progression.
in the progression, okay,
Yeah, and then
you
let me
got
see them.
you got the
Yeah,
necklace.
no, put the little girl back at opposite. You got them backwards for us.
Oh, for you, that's right. It's
Yeah.
like reversed.
And then I had
Okay,
the girl,
and
right?
then the little girl.
So
Yeah, I'm
I
interested in
see,
that.
because all cards give a
Pull my
message.
card.
Alphabet card, it don't matter. Like, if it doesn't matter, all cards will give you a message, right? So what I see is, I see myself,
Uh-huh.
I see jewelry, things that are meaning, things that are of value,
Mm.
right? And I see a crab, which is someone trying to take it.
Mm.
Someone trying to take it.
Mine,
Someone trying to
mine,
take your life. Someone
mine.
trying, yeah, the barrel trying to pull it down, trying to pull it down. And then you have
Hey
the
man,
vultures
this is
that are
your
circling.
message.
These are the vultures that are circling, trying to take it. Pull the bottom card of the deck.
Another one?
Pull one more.
One more. For more clarity. Here we go.
The
The
worm.
worm.
They're trying to be fed. The vultures trying to be fed. The early bird gets the worm. Just saying. All cards will
You
give you
already know.
messages.
Hey, wait, hold
All
on.
cards will give you
I saw
messages.
I saw hey man, there's a message in everything. So I saw Cafe says she does not want the cash app. She'll pass. Crystal wants me to pull a card. So I'm gonna pull one card. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and I'm pulling a card for Crystal. Serena, what is the message for Crystal? The toucan. That's the toucan. It's a T for toucan. That's Crystal's card
You know
right
what?
there.
You know who she is? She's
Not
what's
Toucan
his
Sam.
name? No. The one from Mufasa, from the Lion King.
No,
The
Zazu?
bird. Zazu. She's
Zazu.
Zazu. She's Zazu. She's the one that like floats around, just be telling people shit, telling them what to do. She'd be like trying to keep order and shit. That's Crystal.
Not the Fruity Loops. And I
From
saw
the Fruit of
that
Loops.
D. I saw that you dropped the globes. I mean the crystal balls. So nest. It's a nest. What do you got, Serena?
Oh, nest, that means nurturing, home, focusing on the home life, taking care of the nest.
Anybody else? This is your chance.
Crystal ball, drop a crystal
You
ball,
gotta
drop a crystal
drop a
ball if you
crystal
want a card.
ball. I got 2 more minutes in here. I got 2 more minutes, then I gotta go celebrate Journey. All right, Mom. 1, 2, 3. What's the card? The quail.
The
The
quail.
quail. Look at that thing on his
Look
head.
how healthy. Look at how healthy that bird looks.
Look at
I
that.
see fortune and a very, very healthy belly.
All right, I got Jesse. I see Jesse, and then I see Mr.
Oh,
Cheese. Oh, I gotta
and
see what
a
you got.
cafe.
Okay, Cafe. Boom. This is for
Umbrella.
Jesse. The
Oh,
umbrella for
umbrella.
Jesse.
That means Jesse. That means you're divinely protected. Ain't no
Ella,
rain hitting
Ella.
you, girl.
That's right. You got shelter. You got the
That's
shelter,
right.
and this one is for I saw Mr. Cheese's first, so I'm going Mr. Cheese, then Cafe. So 1, 2, and 3. This is for Mr. Cheese. Ooh, the
Ooh,
sly fox,
fox.
or is it the
The
silver
sly.
fox?
No, it's a sly
Which
fox.
one?
It's the.
That's the sly fox.
It's the be a little mischievous to get what you need. You know what I'm saying, Mr.
Okay.
Cheese?
All right, Cafe. You
Swiper, no
ready?
swiping.
All right, here we go. Cafe.
Ooh, the
Oh,
bear. You know what that means? That means it's winter. collect all your things, gather all your things, and be ready for spring and be ready to go.
There we go. Hibernation, be ready. What does the fox say? This one is for Janine. 1, 2, and 3
Yo,
for
I'm moving.
Janine.
Janine
Janine.
makeup, look at that ink. Makeup that looks like liner to me. That looks like
Ooh,
liner to me,
okay.
Janine.
See, I thought we was playing. It's not a game.
It's not a game
The
because
cards are
Spirit will
gonna
give you a
talk,
message no
baby.
matter
The
what.
cards are
That's
gonna
right.
talk, baby. I can't do this. I
No,
can't
for
do
real. I'm
this.
moving up to 11th.
Dope. Let's go. All right.
That's what's up.
Did I miss anybody? I'm gonna make sure I'm about to put these away. I didn't miss
Foodie
anybody.
ninja, foodie ninja.
Oh, I missed Chachi too. Wait, Foodie first. All right, so Foodie first.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. This one is for Foodie, the lion.
The line represents strength.
That's big.
Strength and stamina.
That's big. The lion popping out. 1, 2, and 3. This is for Chachi. Oh, that looks
Ooh, is that
strong.
the
The
buffalo? Is
yak.
that the
That's the
buffalo? Is
yak.
that a yak? Oh, the yak.
AKA the
Ooh.
cognac. Get yourself a bottle of Henny and
You know
turn
why?
up. Oh wait, that's not
You
it.
know why? Because she was about to be that energy yesterday. They were about to pull her out, make her have to stick her horns into
Yak.
somebody. That's her protection. That's
Get yourself
protection mode
that
for her.
yak. All right, I didn't miss anybody. I think I got everybody. Oh, Chinita, hold up. Last one. I'm pulling the card for Chinita. I gotta get Chris. Hold up. 1, 2, and 3, and
Ooh, the horse.
oh,
Ooh, the horse. The horse riding into a beautiful future. Look at that hair. Look at that tail. That's actually
yeah.
what her hair
Yo,
looks like.
her hair really does look like a horse. Like
A
she
horse
got
tail.
immaculate
Yeah.
hair.
Look at that. That
Oh,
looks
cherry
that looks
chops
like
is
a
in here.
happy
So
horse.
I
Oh,
can't
you
do
gotta give a
mom. I
Elia
can't
one.
do. Yeah, I can't do mom and not
You
a
gotta do
lie.
it for
Okay,
Elia.
1,
Look,
2, 3. Here we go. Oh, the
fox.
fox. We got a.
Elia,
We got the fox. Oh,
I got my
think he's
eye. You
watching.
gotta sit down with
Think
that
he's watching.
mischievousness.
All right. All right. So putting away the cards. You already know if you want a reading, holla at your boy. If you want a real reading, an in-depth reading, you holla at my girl over here. You don't want to really, really possibly seriously hit me up. But I do help with guidance and I don't use the cards. But
Yeah.
this was fun and I'm definitely bringing these back out. We will do this again sometime. I'm going to wrap it up there. I want to say thank you to everybody who rocked out with us today. You know, this in starting a new series, I think it's important to, you know, start with what you got and work with what you got. And we're doing that. I'm going to have a couple familiar faces on here before we get into reaching out outside of our bubble. But I want to thank everybody who's rocked out with us from beginning to end and those who popped in and out. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about Serena, aka Faithful Wishes. Definitely check
Mrs.
out her
Wow.
series. Mrs. Wow in the building. Clap that up for Mrs. Wow. And cheer it because we're at the end of our episode today. So I want to make
Yeah,
sure
we
that
went so long we
everybody
didn't even get
knows.
questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Okay,
but
guys, so real
as you
quick,
guys
if you
know,
have questions, just inbox me.
there you
Inbox
go.
me and I'll reply to the
So,
questions if you guys have any
and
specific questions.
I'm only cutting it short because it is
It's
Mamacita's birthday
Journey's
and I got to
birthday.
get out there. So, you know, thank you again to everybody. Serena, thank you so much for being on
Oh, thank you for
this
having me.
episode. I really appreciate it. I know, you know, time is all we really got. We don't get that back. So I thank you for your time and I appreciate you taking the time to be my first guest. We've done a lot of firsts together, so I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your energy with me, and the people as well. So I really appreciate it. To everybody else, till next time, I'll catch you on a live. If you haven't seen my last two videos, go check them out because I think they're pretty funny. Go ahead,
Wait.
plug.
What I'm actually gonna do, just because I feel like I want to give a little bit of energy.
Give
So
it.
what I'm gonna do, guys, is actually I'm gonna back out, co-host, bring them
Switch
over,
over. Go ahead,
and
do
we'll
that.
do like a 10-minute activation real quick. What
Go
do you think?
ahead.
Is everybody? So wait, because I don't want to waste my time. If you want an
Okay.
activation, if I see enough crystals, then I will drop out and we will go over.
Drop
We
the
got
crystal
16
balls. Drop
people
the crystal
here.
balls.
So if you guys want some
Let's go.
energy
Let's
healing
go.
real quick,
She's
if
gonna be
not, we'll
sending
wrap it
out the
up for the
light.
night.
It's already charged up. It's already charged up. So
We got
let's go.
one.
Let's
Let's
go.
see. We got one.
Butterfly Queen,
We
drop a
got
crystal
two.
ball. Drop a crystal ball.
You trying to recruit?
Cafe. Let's go. All right,
Okay,
we got a
okay,
couple. We
okay,
got a
okay. We
couple.
got
Pop
enough.
out and then pop
Okay,
back.
I'll pop out.
Go live and then come back. Again, thank you everybody. This does happen every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this episode. Thank you so much. I'm gonna wait for Serena to jump back in so we could kind of do a box hop on over to her live. And then I'm gonna go celebrate with the fam and my mamacita. So yes, great episode. I'm very happy with the way things turned out today. I'm very happy that Serena was able to share some of her story, and I know you guys are going to continue to learn from her because she has so much to teach in the way of life and spirituality. So I think it's an amazing thing when somebody could come on and tell their story. You could get a little bit insight to who they really are, and that just helps us connect and realize that we're not the only ones going through what we're going through. There are other people going through it as well, and that's what ties us all together. So thank you all again and again and again. I really appreciate it. Like, this is where we're starting out, between 10 to 15 people, but I have goals, and I'm hoping to reach those goals very soon. So I really appreciate you all. Let me now that she is live, I'm going to invite her and let her jump in here.
Thank you. I
Appreciate
was
it.
like trying my best. I was like,
All right, let me invite
how
her.
do I
I was
do
like,
this?
why is she taking so long? But all right, guys,
I
we're
couldn't
gonna
figure it out.
box hop on over. Serena
Hi,
is
Coach
now
Spade.
live and streaming, so switch it on over to her. Appreciate you, Mr. Cheese. Thank you for sticking around and rocking with us as always. Can't wait to get you in the box. But all right, guys, have a great night. We're moving on over to Faithful Wishes, and you guys can continue rock with Serena. I'll probably jump in there after I'm done doing my thing. But thank you all. God bless and good night. Peace.
Hey, guys. Welcome.